something. I definitely heard something. Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, he's dying.
I'm laying there thinking, these DIs are tough, but they're nowhere near as tough as my father was. Yeah, Charlie made military easy.
RPMs are dropped to 135! You have to find reasons to hate your opponents.
You learn how to sleep with a lot of loud noises all around you, and I mean all around you.
We can't win if we're upside down in a goddamn ditch dead.
And he actually fell off the destroyer into the Pacific Ocean.
I said, I'm gonna do a gainer, and I'm gonna pull my own chute. He says, tell your dad don't do this.
Family values were extremely strong in the Pastrana family, and I feel like that came from the military. Our whole upbringing was grounded in the same work ethic.
Come on, Charlie, get it on!
And I'm very honored to be a part of a family with such a rich military history.
I remember sometimes I would just think to myself, Greg, please don't hang out with your cousin today.
Holy smoke!
We were at the Minios one time and Robert put up a sign, slow down.
He doesn't change his style because it's dangerous, he just does it.
You're paying to potentially kill yourself.
You know, he's that guy. He's the people's champ.
If he couldn't line up a boxing match, he'd line up a street fight.
You're broken, you're hurt, you're sick, you're tired. That was his happy place.
We want to be able to show the people who do fight for our freedoms that we care and we appreciate what they're doing.
And that was my last really stupid thing, I think.
Never thought I'd be in charge of safety. That's a scary thought.
America is at war.
I'm Travis Pastrana, and this is my family.
I'm Robert Pastrana, I'm Travis's dad.
Oh, yeah!
I'm Debbie Pastrana, Travis's mom.
Mom, I thought you were smarter than this.
My name is Dawn Howell. I am Travis's aunt, and I am Special Greg's mom.
My name is Lindsay Adams Hawkins Pastrana, and I'm Travis's wife.
I married an idiot.
Travis as a kid was nothing that you would expect at all, what you see today. Travis was so shy, he was like backwards.
No, wrong wall! Yay!
My dad always had a motorcycle. My mom even rode dirt bikes. All my uncles around back the shop.
For his 4th birthday, we got him a motorcycle. And I think when he put a helmet on, he was like a superhero type of thing, even though the superheroes weren't really out then. So we weren't even thinking about him turning pro at all. It just was like something to help him.
When he puts on the helmet, something, some wires cross or something, I don't know, but when he puts on that helmet, he is different.
It was very stressful. I remember we were at the Minios one time and Robert put up a sign, slow down.
So we grew up a mile from Annapolis, Maryland. The Naval Academy was where I did a lot of training. I'd always go with one of my uncles or somebody and we'd hit the obstacle course. And it was always that really fun thing that I just assumed was what every family did. I think family was what allowed me to be as confident as I am because I knew that I had a support system. You know, I was fortunate to be an only child, but I had a lot of cousins, had a lot of uncles, had a lot of people that were always keeping me in line, always holding me to what I said I was gonna do. You know, if it was 7 o'clock on a weekend, you were still in bed, you were a lazy pile of shit.
All of the family supported all of our family members. You know, Travis wasn't a unique one. He was unique in how far his ventures were taking him, but he wasn't unique in that he was given all the attention and all the support that all the family could render. We did that for everyone.
Family values were extremely strong in the Pastrana family, but if you worked hard, everybody in the family would back you. And I feel like that came from the military. They sacrificed a lot to serve this great country that we get to live in, that I get to live my dreams in. So they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and the stories I hear about my granddad, Charlie, was that he just liked excitement. When hit the fan, that was his happy place.
My dad, Charlie, was a Golden Glove boxer. If he couldn't line up a boxing match, he'd line up a street fight. He boxed in the Navy, and when they were heading for the occupation of Japan, they were kind of just fake boxing on the fantail of the destroyer. Charlie leaned back against the ropes when he was duking and dodging with another guy there. When he leaned on the ropes were being worked on, unbeknownst to him, on both ends, and overboard he went.
And he actually fell off the destroyer into the Pacific Ocean. And apparently it took about 45 minutes for that destroyer to turn around and come back and get him, and he survived. He took off his shoes, put them around his neck because he knew he couldn't get another pair of shoes on ship, or he'd have to buy them or pay for them or something like that. He would always say, "Charlie, it's you and the deep blue sea." I heard him say that so many times when we were growing up because he loved telling the story. But sure enough, eventually the ship circled around and picked him up, and he lived to tell the story. So
I remember in boot camp, Paris Island, back in '67, and you'd hear whimpering that first week at nighttime when everybody's laying at attention in their bed and everything's bone quiet, and you'd hear guys that were really doubting whether they had made a good choice or not. And I'm laying there thinking, these guys were tough, but they're nowhere near as tough as my father was. Yeah, Charlie made military easy.
But after Charlie, it was my grandma that ran the family, and there was Ruth. I mean, there was no better human being. No matter what you did wrong or right, that's where you are right now. Let's work forward. She never thought about the past. She never thought about, oh, this is too hard.
not only did she watch her husband and her brothers-in-law and sister-in-law go off to war and all of that, but also during the Vietnam War, she watched Robert and my brother Ron was in the Navy. She watched them also go off and serve in the military as well. She had patience, she had strength, she was gentle, and yet she was firm. If you ask her grandchildren, each of her grandchildren would say, "Oh, Grandma loved me best."
I think I was Grandma's favorite. She had a lot of grandkids, but I lived right next door. She took care of me. If I took anything out of this life, it's what my grandma Ruth taught me. And no matter how bad you thought anything got, man, she had seen it all. 9 kids. That's pretty wild.
Taking away even more points now. Oh, no! Travis had his neck jerked and then popped the back of his head.
I was just tired of being hurt. I was always broken. I was always injured. I didn't understand the whole championship game. I just wanted to win every race. Luckily, freestyle motocross just pretty much had X Games.
Travis Pastrana, motocross, 15 years old, youngest guy here.
He was doing freestyle when he was probably 12 or 13 or 14, and so he really never really transitioned. He was always one foot in freestyle and the other foot in racing.
Dad's like, I don't want to see you get hurt. I'd rather see you work construction with us. But if that's what you love to do, and you wake up every morning with that passion, then by God, do not let a second go by that you're not putting everything you have into it. It's because I stopped having passion to go out there and hate everybody, because that's what you got to do. You have to find reasons to hate your opponents, to get up every morning when you're broken, when you're hurt, when you're sick, when you're tired. When freestyle, X Games, hell, Tony Hawk, he was trying to 900. They extended the time by 15 minutes so he could land the trick, and all his competition was cheering him on. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and smile until I figure out your tactics, because this is weird. That is where racing turned into Nitro Circus.
So
So Travis would bring over these guys to learn backflips, this competition. Why are you bringing why are you teaching your competition? He's like, because I don't want the sport to die. I love the sport. I want everyone to learn how to do this.
So Greg is my oldest of 5. We have 5 children. We landed back in Annapolis when my husband retired from the Army. He had put in 21 years. So this was a great opportunity for Greg and Travis to start hanging out again. I remember sometimes I would just think to myself, Greg, please don't hang out with your cousin today.
And my face hit the bottom of this creek.
What's up, Greg? Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, we're ready. Oh boy. We got him.
You know what you're asking for?
We got him.
Norman Alton, he said, I want a box. I said, box special, Greg. And so somehow he talked me and Jeff Cernick into joining him.
You know, so we're gonna line up one at a time and Street Bike Tommy. And we're just gonna have all of us go after Greg. And eventually one of us is gonna get him. My dad's like, oh, I can take him.
I'll go first. You know, you can't kill me.
And he hit the ground, he blew out his MCL, hits the ground. And I just remember him looking up from the ground, knee blown out, and he's like, he didn't even swing.
He didn't even swing.
That was the greatest moment of my life, because I was like, oh, someone can actually kick the shit out of my dad. It's taking a passion that you have with multiple other people that are all trying to do something that has never been done before, and coming together to use all of your brain power and all of your ups and all of your successes in the past and do something that absolutely does not need to be done for no reason, for no money. Matter of fact, you're paying to potentially kill yourself.
The double backflip was probably the most incredible event I've ever seen. I mean, I watched it on TV because being there didn't help me. I didn't want to be at a freestyle contest when he was doing stupid stuff. I mean, Travis took 2 years. All of his friends in the foam pit, pulling him out, pushing him in, pulling him out, pushing him in. I think if there was ever a transition of who Travis knew who he was, that was probably it.
You know what sucks worse than this? What's that? Dying in some old folks' home with a bedpan beside you. So the worst option ain't that bad.
Travis called up one day and said, Dad, we got a bridge where you can base jump. So this was new to me. I'd never base jumped. When I stood up on the rail, the guy said, Mr. Pastrana, we're gonna hold your deployment chute. All you gotta do is, jump, spread eagle, and we'll do the rest. I said, I didn't come 2,000 miles, drive a car all night to sit here and have somebody pull my chute for me. I said, I'm gonna do a gainer, and I'm gonna pull my own chute. And he looks at Travis, he says, Travis. He says, tell your dad don't do this. And Travis said, no, he's all right.
Gainer and pull. Gainer and pull. Oh yeah! Ah! Yeah!
It was one of the last stupid things I did.
We do a full throttle jump.
Yeah, I'll do a full throttle jump.
Right.
Do the bay one.
Swam back to the boat, crawled in, tried to pretend that he was tough, but you could see that he was in pain. And the doctor was like, or the medic that was on the boat was like, hey, do you want any painkillers? He's like, yep, give me all you got. And at that point, I'm like, he's dying. Like, I've never seen my dad admit pain. I'd never seen him take an Advil, let alone a freaking shot.
I said, I need to go to the hospital. I got something really going on here. When I got there, I was done. I was bleeding out internally.
Well, later that day, we're filming. The producer, Tripp, came on and was like, dude, your dad's, he almost bled out on the way to the hospital. He's in ICU. Like, they're kind of touch and go right now. I was like, yep, I expected that. Tripp was like, why didn't you say something? I'm like, well, he told you needed to go back and you took him back. He's like, we had him get in a taxi. Like, what were you guys thinking? I'm like, well, he's tough.
That was a Saturday morning, and I woke up Wednesday morning.
Dad, you ever coming on a trip with us again?
I'm never leaving the country of the United States of America again in my entire Like, Mom, I won't do this again ever, I promise.
Sorry, Dad. You made it, but did you die?
And that was my last really stupid thing, I think.
To be honest, my dad doesn't talk a lot about his service. The only thing that I really know is that every day he pretty much petitioned to be front line, and every day they said, we need a dozer operator, and you put on your form that you do that, and he wanted to take that back off.
Went to boot camp right out of high school. At the beginning of boot camp, you take a test. What it actually was a placement. This is how they placed you into your field in the Marine Corps. For what I wanted to do when I went in the Marine Corps, number one was infantry, and number two was second choice, I would take artillery. So I wanted one of those two. But because of the test results, mine came out heavy equipment because of my father's business with the Bobcats and the dump trucks and all. So I felt a little disappointed, and I said, I'll just do the best I can at what they ask. I'll just go from there. I mean, no whining. It's just you just do it. That's the Marine Corps way. I volunteered for Vietnam right out of boot camp, but I was only 17. I had to wait till I was 18 to go overseas. Spent 13 months over there. Interesting. You learn how to sleep with a lot of loud noises all around you, and I mean all around you. That was my job. When they blow bridges up, our guys would go out there, we'd fix the bridges, we'd flatten the road back out, and we'd go back and bet which bridge would get blown up. We'd have a big 20-man tent, and we wouldn't have enough guys to fill it, and we're out there in the middle of nowhere. And daytime, that seems pretty normal, but nighttime, it's just the skies light up again. After a week, you actually fall asleep during it. You just know that noise is not your noise. This noise is your noise. If you hear that one, you gotta get up. But if you hear this one, don't worry about it, go back to sleep. We had a guy named Reds he called it Massachusetts. He couldn't say his own state. Reds was coming toward us with his water truck, just trying to hold dust down a little bit. And he had a mine. He was probably 25 yards from us. And just boom. I mean, you don't see anything. You just see dust and dirt. And you miss the part where he's flying out and lands on a rice paddy.
Being one of 9 children, the older ones helped to take care of the younger ones. Robert stepped into that role early. He was, in a lot of ways, more than a big brother to me. In many ways, he was a surrogate father. Go with him to play tennis. I would go with him on motorcycle rides. I would go with Robert to the local pool in the summer. And he was a wonderful, wonderful big brother. I don't have a lot of recollection of him being away, but I have a strong recollection of his return because I was the one that he saw first. And I remember I was playing outside in the front yard and I saw Robert. This was my brother that I hadn't seen in a year. And I remember looking at him and saying, Robert. And I remember him going, shh, tell Mom to look out the back window of the house. We were in the backyard and we're yelling at Mom. We're like, Mom, hey Mom, look, Mom. And as we had her attention, Robert walked in the front door and tapped her on the shoulder and said, hi Mom, I made it.
I was always good at the underdog. I like to take what people would say and prove them wrong. And when I got to the point when I was 17 years old, I was the youngest person to ever win the Outdoor National Championship, won Motocross of Nations for the US. But when it was just expected, I didn't have that same motivation. I looked for a new challenge. One of my big sponsors was Alpine Stars, and they sponsored the Subaru rally team. And they said, what's it gonna take for you to stay on Alpine Stars? So I was being offered a lot of money from a different company. And I said, you guys take me over to drive a WRC car and I'll ride for free for the rest of my life, and I did. I liked cars. I wanted to rally. And what rally taught me with the co-driver was that you don't have to win every single stage. You don't have to win everything. You have to do the best that you can and learn every single moment how to get better. My co-driver was like, dude, I rally because I like to win. He goes, I'm an investment banker. I'm the Collegiate Quiz Bowl national champion. I am a genius. I'm gonna retire with 40 million in my bank account, but what I don't get out of my accountant job is winning. So listen, because we can't win if we're upside down in a goddamn ditch dead.
I watched that wreck where he rolled. How many times did he roll? He rolled 12 times or something, I don't know, something stupid. And he gets out cheering like he just won a contest of some type.
Are you alive? Are you alive? I'm fine. How are you? Holy that was a hell of a ride.
So rally was going awesome. I won the championship 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. Ironically, those same years, my friend Jimmy Johnson won the NASCAR Cup Championship, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was the best in the world, 4-time champ. I'm 4-time champ in rally. Talking to Jimmy, I'm like, I want to race Daytona. I want to do the Daytona 500. And he's like, you can't just jump in and do the Daytona 500. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And by the time you do all this stuff, you're probably either going to be all in thinking you can be the best, or you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it to Daytona. He goes, I don't know if that's realistic. So that put that little thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, Jimmy Johnson doesn't think I can beat him. He was right.
Oh, and Pastrana takes a whole race to sledgehammer hit.
Well, he's right there. He's got loose coming off turn 2. Boy, did he get that.
Tarmac has not always been his specialty and continues to kind of behoove him, I guess. It's funny to go to a NASCAR race, even now, years after Travis has raced a full season, and the fans love him and they recognize him and know who he is. But you know, he's that guy. He's the people's champ. He's approachable. He's genuinely kind. He's genuinely interested in making sure that your day is made. That's something that is really special and unique to Travis. I don't know a lot of people who are like that.
So starting from day one in NASCAR, my goal was to race the Daytona 500. No, I didn't have great success in NASCAR, but I believe that I belong here. And finally I talked to Denny Hamlin, and he looked me in the eye and said, hey, I honestly believe that you can help us. The amount of homework that's in NASCAR it's absurd, but I did it. And I was on the simulator, even though I get motion sickness, as many hours they would give me. And the first time I was ever in a NASCAR Cup car was my qualifying lap.
Qualifying for the 500. This is literally a dream come true.
My daughter Addie laughed. She's like, you qualified last. I'm like, but I qualified.
That has been a dream of Travis's for as long as I know.
Daytona, Greg was on his pit crew. Greg wouldn't have it any other way. He's like, oh, no, I'm the best person that Travis could possibly have on his pit crew.
Last lap, holy crap, we're in for a shot at winning the Daytona 500. And all I was thinking about was getting right on Bubba's rear fender, pushing him down the back out of turn 2. And as I did that, I forgot to check my rear view. Lost control because the wind changes when someone gets close to you. And I took out, half the field.
Had to go to the middle. Oh, he got turned. Larson Pastrana in the fence. Last field green. No, the caution is out.
On my way to an 11th place finish, so I didn't get invited back, but it was cool. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Robert and I exchanged a few texts last week about who in the family is connected to the military, serving or did serve when they were alive or before they got out. And we quickly put together a list of at least 24 names. I think we got up to 25 names.
My wife, Lindsay, her father was a Marine. My father was a Marine. My mom's father was in the Navy. My dad's father was in the Navy.
My dad was a captain in the U.S. Marine Corps. He served way before I was born. All my uncles served. It was always just something that I thought was a part of our family and what we do. And then I married into the Pastrana family, and it goes even deeper than that. Just the integration of the military within our families is, it runs very deep. It's in the roots of the family tree.
And when I got to the top of the sports, what I realized was the journey was the fun part. And that's why we started Nitro Circus, because I realized that I needed to be pushed, I needed to be challenged, I needed to be around people that challenge you, but I needed that camaraderie, that friendship. We found a lot of kind of correlations between military and people that get out of the military and action sports, and after your career's done. We have built such a fun playground for action sports. Let's make it so I can spend that time with my kids so that we can bring veterans over of all levels. So we can bring that next generation of kids that wants to be the top in action sports, and we can help inspire and motivate that next generation to get off the couch, to live their video game, and to do it as safe as possible here. I never thought I'd be in charge of safety. That's a scary thought.
Veterans come without arms, without legs, and they leave by ambulance with this biggest grin you've ever seen.
We want to be able to show the people who do fight for our freedoms that we care and we appreciate what they're doing.
For Travis to be able to see veterans and first responders and to be able to show appreciation for everything that they have sacrificed, everything that they are doing, that's easy. That comes from the heart.
I'm very honored to be a part of a family with such a rich military history. I would think my granddad would be proud of what he built. He'd be proud of his kids, proud of his wife. You look over all the kids, every single one of them has that bond. And I feel like that's something that's greater than any amount of money could ever do. And I was very fortunate to find a passion in the right time, in the right place, with the right people around me, that I was able to make a living on kids' toys and now give that back to the community in a way that Pop-Up Charlie would, he would be smiling. He'd be happy. If he had a day here, he'd be stoked.